Wish I could say I was finally over you.
Hey guys, welcome back to my kitchen. In today's tutorial, I'm going to show you how to make Louisiana style gumbo. So we're going to be making a chicken and andouille sausage gumbo, but there are a couple of variations of gumbos out there. One in particular would be like a seafood gumbo, where you could use crawfish and shrimp and even put oysters in it. You could mix it up a bit and do andouille sausage and crawfish, or chicken and shrimp, or keep it a little bit simpler and just do straight up chicken or straight up andouille sausage. Now, if you can't find andouille sausage by you in your supermarket, you can use any smoked sausage, but I highly recommend you seek it out and you use it because it's really flavorful. Now, I love Cajun and Creole cooking, mostly because of the depth of flavor that you find in those dishes. And that's because they use a lot of herbs and aromatics and spices. But that's not the only way to impart flavor into a dish. Sometimes the cooking technique is what helps to bring out flavor. And gumbo is the perfect example. Now, what will make or break your gumbo is the roux. Now, if you don't know what a roux is, it's simply cooking flour in a fat. And the fat can be butter, it could be lard, or it could be oil. Traditionally, gumbos use oil, like vegetable oil, canola oil, corn oil, like that. And you're just gonna cook that flour low and slow until it becomes a nice nutty brown color. In fact, the best thing to gauge it, how dark it is and where you want it to be at, is to use a penny. You want that beautiful coppery brown color in your roux, because that is flavor. That really is what makes a really good gumbo. The darker the roux, the better the gumbo. The lighter the roux, the weaker the gumbo. So it's not gonna take just 5 minutes to make a roux. You need to spend at least 15, 20, if not a little bit longer, maybe 30 minutes, just slowly cooking flour in oil until it becomes that beautiful brown color. It's gonna be well worth it though, if you do it. It's just gonna need a few minutes of undivided attention to get to that stage. You're not gonna cook it too fast, because then it's gonna burn, it's not gonna taste good. And to be honest, the rest of the recipe, like the cooking for gumbo, is basically like just dumping everything in a soup or stew pot and then simmering it for like 20 or 30 minutes. Really, the real cooking is creating that deep, beautiful roux, as well as just quickly cooking off, in our case, some chicken, because we're making chicken and andouille sausage. So you're gonna wanna take your time in doing that, but like I said, it's gonna be well worth it. Now, like all my tutorials, at the beginning of this tutorial, I'll have an ingredients page listing all the necessary ingredients and the measurements, and I'll also put it in the description box below for your convenience. So, enough talking. Let's get cooking. So we'll start by seasoning our chicken. Here I have 1 pound of cubed chicken tenders, and to that I'm gonna add 1 teaspoon of Paul Perdone's Poultry Magic seasoning. If you don't have it, no big deal, just use some salt and pepper to taste. That'll do just fine. Now just stir that around and make sure to coat all the chicken with the seasoning. Next, I have a pot on the stove. I'm going to put it up to about medium-high heat, and I'm just going to add 1 tablespoon of canola oil to the pan. We're going to brown our chicken quickly. We're not going to cook it all the way through. So here's the chicken. I'm just going to add that to the pan. It'll take about 3 or 4 minutes to brown the chicken. So that's browned enough. I'm going to remove it and just set it to the side. Now just shut the heat off, get some paper towel, and wipe the bottom of the pan, because we want to start with fresh, clean oil to make our roux. So I've turned the heat back on to about medium-low, and now I'm going to add 1/3 of a cup of canola oil and 1/3 of a cup of all-purpose flour. And now on a really low setting, a low flame, you just want to continually stir your flour and oil, and it will slowly start to brown. Make sure your heat is on low. So after a few minutes, it starts to brown. This is 15 minutes in. And this is 25 minutes in, and it's a beautiful dark brown color. So now we're gonna add our 4 cloves of minced garlic, 1 cup of chopped onion, 1 cup of chopped celery, and 1 cup of green bell pepper. Now just stir that into the roux and saute for a minute or 2. Next, we'll add 1 teaspoon of thyme and 1 teaspoon of paprika and 1 teaspoon of red pepper flake. Now, if you want it hotter, you could certainly add more. I'm also going to add some Creole seasoning, 1 teaspoon, but unfortunately I poured out a little too much, so what fell in the pot, I'm calling a teaspoon. Now be careful, this can be very salty and it also has some heat. Next I'll add some chicken broth, 4 cups, which is the whole carton. And now we're going to raise the heat because we want to bring that to a low boil or a simmer. Once it's simmering, I'm going to add Gumbo filet powder, 1 teaspoon. If you don't have it, it's not a make or break thing, but if you can find it, I suggest you use it. Next, we'll add our chicken back to the pot. And now 1 pound of andouille sausage that I've cut into rounds. Just add that in and stir everything together. Here I have frozen cut okra. We're going to add 1 cup. But I really like okra, so of course I add a little bit more. And here I have bay leaves, so we're going to add 2. Now just stir that all together. Give it a quick taste, see if it needs some additional seasoning. I like a little bit more salt and pepper in mine, so I'm going to add a little bit more. Stir it in, put the cover on, and at a low simmer, cook it for approximately 30 minutes. After 30 minutes, we can remove the lid. It looks beautiful. And then just remove the bay leaves. Our gumbo is done, shut off the heat. So now let's plate it and taste it. Okay, here it is, guys, our chicken and andouille sausage gumbo. And if you could smell the smells that I am smelling, I can't wait to try it. So I'm going to add a little bit more filet, just a little scoop. And I've also served my gumbo. I have some white rice in my bowl here. And a little extra heat, some Louisiana Creole sauce. Whoop, oh. Get a little crazy. All right, let's taste it. Here we go. I have both the chicken and the andouille. That depth of flavor is amazing. The layers. That roux got so nice and nutty brown. It is absolutely perfect. A little bit of thyme, a little bit of Cajun seasoning and paprika, the garlic, the celery, the onion, the peppers, and then of course our andouille sausage and our okra and chicken all come together so beautifully. This is a winner, guys. Really, so good. I can't wait for you guys to try and enjoy this recipe. Please give me a thumbs up if you like this video and share with your friends. And don't forget, Subscribe to my channel so you don't miss out on anything. And always guys, till next time.